r/AskReddit. What is the fastest way you have seen someone ruin their life? Watched a guy gamble $30,000 away in a night, and then cried about losing his life savings, and security had to get involved and escort him out because he started to get angry at the dealers because all they could offer him was free night stays at the hotel for playing so much, but he wanted free play at the tables/slots, and they refused. An acquaintance. He had a good job, nice truck, mortgage on a nice home, minimal debt, in a relationship with someone out of his league. Before I knew him, he'd had a DUI. But his attorney got him a plea deal that dropped the DUI down to a minor charge. A real lucky break. All he had to do was stay the course. He could have walked home that night. It was less than 2 miles. But he was too proud to leave his truck at the bar, so instead he wrapped it around a power pole. No one was hurt, including him. The judge who got his case was furious to learn his previous DUI had been pled down. The judge rejected a plea deal and vowed to throw the book at him. There was prison, then a year on house arrest. His job required a driver license, so that was gone. I don't know at what point in his house arrest he could have started working, but he refused to. His former employer offered him a non-driving job, less money but still good money. He turned it down because it was beneath him. He said the same thing to 2 jobs his girlfriend single-handedly secured for him. Even after his house arrest, he refused to work. He said he didn't want to. Apparently yelling at his girlfriend to pay his mortgage was better than working. She finally got the courage to leave. His parents found him dead. No one will ever know if he intended to drink himself to death, or whether it just happened. His parents blamed the girlfriend. Apparently the world would still be graced by his presence if she had stayed to get hit and yelled at. Please don't drive drunk. Not ever. Not even a little. If you're not sure, just don't. And if you suspect you have the disease of addiction, please get help. I don't really care that this person died, but he hit a lot of innocent branches on the way down. A lot of suffering for no reason. I wound up having to change the number for my first real cell phone, because the previous owner of that number still kept giving it out. Apparently she had just moved, and her old job couldn't get a hold of her to send her her last check. Her new job couldn't get a hold of her to get her schedule. Her vet couldn't get her to pick up her cat. I got calls from her leasing company who needed documentation to secure her apartment. Every single day was some new way an idiot was f***ing up her finances, her housing, her job, her pets, her social life, all because she couldn't remember her new phone number. After a month I finally got fed up and had the number changed. Friend of mine had a girlfriend that was notorious for tying men to herself by accidentally getting pregnant when things weren't going well in the relationship. At that point, she already had 3 kids from different guys while in her early/mid-20s. Said friend was lucky enough that things ended before she could do that again. However, his best friend caught feelings for her too and had an on-off relationship for a couple of months. To no one's surprise, she got preggo, and he now has to pay for a child he hasn't seen once. She's on child number 5 now, by the way. My older brother was in high school, already secured a full baseball scholarship and one of the best players I've ever seen. His friends, who were in the neighborhood gang, told him that they would let him join if he stole a 12-pack from a gas station. He did it, of course, and the police found him walking down the road with it. He got a slap of the wrist after a night in juvie, but that scholarship went out the window. Not long after he dropped out, shaved his head, got caught up in the violence of the gang, tattooed his face, got half his teeth replaced, and had a few kids with different girls. He rode that life for almost 10 years until his new girlfriend set him straight, and has spent the past few years trying to be a good dad, got off drugs, got a steady job. We don't talk anymore, but I'm still rooting for him. Old high school classmate of mine got a girl pregnant during our last year of school. Then he proceeded soon after to get another girl pregnant. And what he did again recently. You guessed right. He got a third one pregnant. Now he is paying triple child support to 3 different girls. And he has barely no money. He comes from a poor family. Last time I've heard of him, he started selling drugs to get the cash in and pay for the kids' money. Frankly, it saddens me. He was a chill guy and really friendly. It seems that he couldn't just pull out of things when it counted. Guy I knew in school became a police officer. He started dating another officer and they eventually split up. Him and her went out for a few drinks. After they split up, and him and his brother came up with a plan to hide in her bag, and the brother would call the police on her. The police turned up and searched her bag and arrested her for possession. She rightfully said she had never seen the drugs before and weren't hers. They eventually searched for fingerprints on the bag of drugs and only found the guy I knew from school's fingerprints on the bag. He lost his career and got sent to prison for 7 years. His brother also got a few years in prison for his part in it as well. When I was younger, my dad got real into gambling. He always had a bad thing for those scratch-off lotto tickets, but it was manageable. They opened a casino 30 minutes away, and within a few years he was consumed. He was sleeping in their parking lot, missing work. Years later, we found out he was thousands in debt and had blown through his pension, 401k, and his savings. It's crazy because this was a dude who pinched every single penny. Notoriously cheap. Even questioned how much money he was giving us for school lunches. One night, before we knew how big of a problem the casino was for him, my wife and I went there and met him. We eventually went on our own, and I found one of those video poker machines. The ones where there is a video of a live dealer. It was like $5, plus whatever amount you would put up for the bonus. The bonus pays you if you had something like the same suit or number, etc. This game sat next to me and his GF/wife behind him. He kept betting $5 on a hand and $200 on the bonus, the max bet. He did this a few times until he would eventually hit the bonus after a few tries. So he was up in the thousands at this point. Within 5 minutes it was gone. All of it gone. I estimated they lost $1,200 of their own money in addition to the thousands they could walk away with. The wife/GF ran away sobbing. The guy looked at me and said, "That was my rent money." I turned around and left. Until I remembered that guy destroying his life, or at least his rent, in front of me, I thought the answer to your question was my dad. A failing company, the owner, a genius software engineer, but a terrible person, and a horrible business owner, wanted to sell it. He was $80,000 in debt and was going bankrupt. He got an offer from a competitor who was also a rival for many years. They offered $120,000 mostly because of a large portfolio of customers that they could reach out to. He refused out of pride. His asking price was $140,000 and he refused to even negotiate. 3 months later, nobody else made an offer. His debts increased to close to $100,000 in total, and the company was costing him more and more money every day. The aforementioned competitor used money to advertise. Some clients willingly jumped ship, and 4 months after the initial offer, the same competitor made another offer, $80,000. They didn't have to. The company was dying and all of the customers would jump ship automatically when the company would die, and their hosting would also go up in smoke. Of course, he rejected that offer too. 2 weeks later, he went bankrupt and lost his home. Nobody helped him because he's an insufferable a-hole. He was now homeless. And this was 18 years ago. When I went back to that city a while ago, I saw him. He's still homeless. He isn't addicted, he's just angry at the world and at himself, I guess. My dad managed to do that. In 2019, Mom discovered that he married another woman behind her back. Fast forward to this year. He's miserably living with his new wife, has 3 kids, is in a lot of debt, his new wife is blackmailing him, his company is bankrupt contributing to his unemployment, and so many lawsuits have been filed against him by Mom because he wouldn't pay for child support after they've divorced back in 2022. He used to smoke when I was 3, but I'm 18 this year. And only now does he relapse back to this after being clean for 15 years. May I also add how he gained a lot of weight because of how messed up his diet is due to his and his wife's laziness? Oh, and his mother passed away earlier this year, and no one in her extended family attended the funeral except for me, my siblings, my uncles and him. She was a horrible woman. I should also mention how all of his family and friends have cut him off after what he did too. Now, all of this happened within the time span of 4 years. I'd say that's a pretty short time for all of this to happen with no break in between. It's like drama is his breakfast, misery is his lunch, and loneliness is his dinner. For 4 years. At this point, a depressing event is an annual occurrence that he's gotten used to.